Hello guys and welcome back to the Barbados Walker YouTube channel. This is another episode and I'm in the middle of the road. So right now we're actually standing at Wildey, and when I first got to Barbados I used to call it the Wildy Triangle, and the reason I was calling it the Wildy Triangle is because when you open the map of Barbados, you're going to see a very prominent triangle somewhere in the middle, the highway, right? So this is where it is. It's a very interesting spot because it connects everywhere. If you go along this side, you'll see it takes you to Sky Mall, and from there you can go all the way to Warrens. On this side, it takes you to Bridgetown. So this road where those cars are passing will take you to Bridgetown. If you follow this way, you can go to Oystins, you can go to Sheraton, you can go to Hastings, right? So this place connects, practically leads to everywhere in Barbados. That is why it's very important for tourists, significant for foreigners. And on our right, left-hand side, that big building there is the American University of Barbados School of Medicine. Okay? So that is where that building right there, yes. And if you come here, you can see their sign. This is it. Looks very nice. The American University of Barbados. All right? So now we're going to be walking towards Sheraton. We're going to be going towards Sheraton, or going to Sheraton, I should say. And that is the video. I'm going to be giving you guys a couple of fun facts that I learned about Barbados recently. In my last video, when we started from the airport going towards, what do you call it? Bridgetown. I did some research and I found out some very interesting facts about Barbados. And now I want to share some of them with you. So, I also want you to try and see if you can get it. Okay, before I continue, along this road, if you wait at this bus stop here in front of us, you can catch a number 10 bus, and it's going to take you to Sheraton, and if you stay in it, it'll take you all the way to Oystins. On the other hand, if you want to go to Bridgetown, you have to get across. So this is a ZR, but you have to make sure that you're getting the number 10 ZR if you want to get to Sheraton. So on the other hand, on the other side of the road, you can cross over, get a bus, any bus, and it will take you to Bridgetown. So if you look at the other side, you can see a ZR over there. Right, over there. And that one is going to Bridgetown. So this is what the bus stops look like. And you can just sit down here. Many of them have a place that you can charge your phone, and they actually work. And it's lit up at night. Most of them. I don't know whether it's all of them, but most of them are lit up at night. Which makes it significantly safer, or feel safer, I should say. All right, so we're going to be going now. When we get to, there's a very interesting establishment on the left-hand side. When we get there, I'll tell you more about it. So, what are some of the facts that I learned? Okay, let me get some of my notes. Right. All right, so here are some of the facts that I found out about Barbados. The first one is very interesting because I thought I knew this before coming here. And I'm going to ask you this question. Many of you are actually going to fail it. It's a very simple question about Barbados, but most people will fail it. Okay, this is the Garfield Sober Sports Complex. And if you go in that direction, which you can't see from here probably, but this road takes you there. If you go in that direction, there is a pool, there is a tennis court, there is an outdoor gym. There are so many fun exercise things that you can do there. All right? And it's open to the public. So, yeah. Anyway, so the question about Barbados that most people don't know is the colors of the Barbados flag. And this is interesting because when I was coming here, I thought I knew it. What are the colors of the Barbados flag? How many are they? First of all, if you said 2 colors, well, you're wrong. It turns out there is the color of the sides, and then the color of the middle, and finally the color of the trident. Now from far or at a glance, it may look like the trident is the same color as the sides, but it's not. It's actually a different color. And what are the colors? Well, you may say blue, yellow, and black for the trident. But it's not blue. The official name for the color of the Barbados flag, the blue on the Barbados flag, is ultramarine. Did you know that? It's ultramarine. Sometimes it's written as ultramarine blue. And that is why when you look at it, it doesn't exactly look quote unquote blue. It looks like a combination of some royal navy blue and a little bit of purple. That's the kind of vibe it gives. And so that's the real color. And the yellow is not yellow. The official name is gold. The official color is gold. So it's ultramarine blue, the gold, and what color do you think the trident is? If you said black, well, you're correct. That one is just black. It's actually just black. So the 3 colors are actually ultramarine, the gold, and the black trident. Right? Which is really, really interesting. All right, let's go to some other things that I discovered. One of them is, when did Barbados become a republic? When did Barbados become a republic? Barbados became a republic in the year 2021. All right, we're at a roundabout now. If you go in that direction, you're going to go towards Oystins and so on. If you go in this direction, you go towards Hastings, right? And then this one leads you towards Sheraton. So we are continuing. This is one of the government buses. I call it the blue bus, but it doesn't only come in the color blue. If it comes in a different color, or if it's a smaller government bus, there's going to be a triangle on it. So that's how you recognize that it's a government bus. So Barbados became a republic in the year 2021, and that was when Queen Elizabeth II was removed as the head of state. And then Barbados got its first president. Amazing, isn't it? Hello, good morning.
Hey, morning.
Okay, here are some other fun facts. George Washington visited Barbados in 1751, and it is the only country that he ever visited outside North America. So George Washington, Barbados has actually been significant in the Caribbean since the 18th century. That is something I didn't know, especially since a lot about Barbados' global notoriety or famousness. Barbados really became popular, that's what I'm trying to say, in the 21st century. And one of the people that really put Barbados on the map, globally speaking, I'm not talking about like within the Caribbean or within North America, Central America, Latin America, whatever, but globally speaking, was Rihanna. And Rihanna is now also a national hero of Barbados. So when you see how recent the Barbados name went global, Africa, Asia, all over South America, North America, Europe, everybody knows about Barbados, talks about Barbados, wants to visit Barbados for vacation and stuff like that. Do you think that a lot of the quote-unquote history of Barbados was also more recent? But that is a false assumption. Barbados has been significant for a very long time. It's just that for most of that time, there was still slavery in this country. And so it wasn't significant as a nation of its own people with its own autonomy. It was more like a random backyard of the British Empire. You know, it's just a place they come to or they like because of its atmosphere and its resources. But it wasn't seen as a place with its own people and its own culture and its own things. Just a place to be plundered and exploited. But as Barbados broke away from that regime, got its independence, got its freedom, became a republic, all of those things, Barbados slowly rewrote its destiny and was able to make significant progress in economy, in safety, in basically autonomy to write its own rules and destiny and work for the betterment of its own people, not the enrichment of a foreign government or empire. All right. Barbados was also the largest sugar producer in the British Empire. Of all the islands and mainlands and places in the world that the Brits went to get sugar, Barbados produced the most in that empire. Interestingly, Barbados had one of the world's oldest parliaments, which was founded in 1639. Very interesting. Now let me tell you something that you might have already known. And I'm going to try to say this in my most Caribbean accent, because this is a matter that is dear and true to the Caribbean people. Barbados is the birthplace of rum. And I telling you, when I say the country is the birthplace of rum, I don't mean it metaphorically or symbolically. I mean, the world had never tasted rum until the Bajan people invent it. Mount Gate Distillery is the oldest rum distillery in the world, and it is located right here in Barbados. Barbados, arguably, I don't know, because I don't drink alcohol in general, but arguably, Barbados has the sweetest rum in the world. People who drink alcohol will tell you that. They never taste anything like the rum that come out of this island. Something that I have noticed, however, and you don't need to drink alcohol to know this, is that Barbados has one of the strongest rums. I've said this before, going as high as 85% alcohol. At that point, I don't know why it isn't just classified as rubbing alcohol or spirits, because it's almost 100% alcohol. But that is an interesting fact. Did you know, apart from rum, Barbados also invented the grapefruit? Yes. Barbados combined a citrus plant with pomelo. I think it's called pomelo. And that combination, that crossbreeding, gave rise to the grapefruit. And when the foreigners came in, the invaders, they discovered it here, and they were like, interesting. And they took some of it and traveled around the world, and that is how the grapefruit is everywhere now. So, this country single-handedly invented two very popular things around the world. And most people do not even know that it traces back here. There is something here that comes from Africa, West Africa to be specific. But it's so part of Barbados now that it's almost like it originated here. And that is the green monkey. Again, I've said this, that I don't understand why a monkey that looks mostly gray and gold-ish is called a green monkey, but that is the official name of the boy. So the green monkey originated from West Africa. And there are different stories that I read, I don't know which one is more accurate, as to how it got here. Some say when the slaves were being brought here, there were monkeys on board as well. Others say the monkeys were kept as pets for the amusement of the slave drivers and slave masters. And when they got here, some of them escaped and became part of the quote-unquote wild monkeys. I don't know whether they were brought here as pets and then released into the wild or escaped into the wild, or whether they were brought during the slave thing with the rest of the people that were brought here. So, I don't know. But they're actually from West Africa. Something else that is from West Africa is the nickname of Barbados. Barbados is fondly referred to as BIM, B-I-M, by locals. And BIM traces its origin back to a language that is spoken in West Africa, particularly in Nigeria, the Igbo tribe. Fun fact, I am from that tribe. And the word is abem. Also, bem. And what does it mean? It means my place. That's what it means. So it's more like that. I don't know how to directly translate it into English, but it means like my home, my place, where I belong. Ebem. And then over time, the pronunciation, the spelling would change slightly until it became BIM, B-I-M. And so, whenever Bajans say BIM, whether they know it or not, they're calling Barbados home, my place, which is very interesting because if you look at the history, these are people that were taken forcefully from their homes in Africa, sold by their brothers and sisters in many cases, right? Many of the slaves were not actually taken by force, by foreigners. Many of them were sold into slavery, if you look at the history, by their own family members, their own community. And then they were taken out of their homes. Hey, look, we've reached Sheraton. But they were taken out of their homes and they were brought to a foreign land. And instead of give up and call it a day and quit, they said, oh, no, no, no. If these people are going to make us toil and build this place with our bare hands, with the work of our hands and the sweat of our brows, then we will build our home in this foreign land. And this will become Ebem, my home, my place. Because you can't bring me here, force me to develop it, build it, invest so much in it, grow the crops, raise my family, and then we do all this for you? You have to be joking. This is now my home. But it took a lot of time. The first revolt was in 1816 by an African slave known as Bossa, or Busa. I don't know how his name is pronounced. And he rioted, he revolted, he said enough. And even though this story would have been so magnificent if he succeeded on his first try, most victories are not won on their first try. but it sowed the seed. It set precedents. And eventually, Bajans were able to get their freedom from slavery. Even after that, there was still not equality. When it comes to land ownership and being able to be part of the decisions that were being made in Barbados about Barbadians, they still didn't have equality. And they still had to fight for that until culminating in 2021. Barbados is completely free from that system. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of our story and our adventure. We are right here in front of Sheraton. This is a beautiful parking lot. Thank you guys for watching this episode of the Barbados Walker. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.